Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate and today I am bringing you what I am calling the Disney Crash Course tag. So I've seen several tags online for things about Disney and I wanted to combine all of the questions that I liked about both and that I thought were the most interesting from, I think it was 4 or 5 different ones. So I combined 4 or 5 different tags to make this one, and it's kind of an ultimate crash course because it deals with the movies, characters, food, rides, and just general entertainment of Disney. So it really encompasses a lot. But it's something that I found really fascinating and I would genuinely love to know your answers to these. So I will definitely leave all of these questions linked down below. And if you decide to make your own video, please tag me in it. I seriously want to see your answers. Or if you don't feel confident making a video or don't want to make a video, if you just leave your answers in a comment down below, I would love to see them because the thing I love most about Disney is the fact that nobody has the same preferences for everything. Favorite rides are different, favorite characters, favorite movie, favorite quotes, all of those things are different. Favorite food, I mean, a lot of people will say Dole Whip as their #1, but you know, there's so many delicious treats at Disney that you can't just have one answer. So that's why I'm making this tag and that's why I want to know what you have to say. If you see me looking over to the side here, it's because I have my questions listed and I don't want to forget any of the ones that I created and pulled from these different tags. So don't freak out if I'm looking to the side, it's just checking to see which question we're on and what's happening. So the first question is the favorite classic animated movie, and for me it is definitely Robin Hood. It was one of the first movies that I remember loving as a child, and I definitely had my first crush on Robin Hood himself. And this past trip I met Prince John and Friar Tuck, and it was one of the best meet and greets that I've ever had. So definitely Robin Hood gets my favorite classic animated movie pick. The next is favorite Renaissance era Disney movie, and for me this is The Little Mermaid, and it has to be because it was the very first movie I ever saw in theaters and I just fell in love with it. And I think that's part of where my actual true passion and love for Disney came from. And I learned how to sing from Ariel and Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, but mainly from Ariel. So yeah, Little Mermaid definitely gets my pick. The next is favorite modern animated movie, and for me that is Big Hero 6. I just think Baymax is one of the cutest characters to ever be created. I love meeting him in the parks. He's so fluffy and adorable, and how relatable is that I am not fast flying when he's running? Me. Actually me doing any exercise. I am not fast. And Mochi's great, Hiro and Tadashi, their relationship, it's so heartwarming, and the fact that Stan Lee has a cameo in it too just makes the movie extra special. So that's why it gets my pick for most modern animated classic. The next is favorite live action movie, and I'm going old school with this one. And I mean really old school. I'm picking The Parent Trap with Hayley Mills. I used to watch it with my mom all the time when I was little, and I just fell in love with the story. The one with Lindsay Lohan is great too, but there's something about the Hayley Mills one, and part of it I think is the song that they sing to bring their parents back together. Let's get together, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why don't you and I combine? There's something about it so fun, and it's a movie I can rewatch time and time again, and I never get bored of it. And it's also one of the more obscure live action ones, so that's what makes it my pick. Next, of course, is your favorite Pixar movie, and for me, it is WALL-E. Not only is it one of the best animated films I've seen in my entire life, the fact that you can have the first, what is it, like 20 minutes or so with almost no dialogue and it still pulls at your heartstrings, that is beyond incredible to me. The scene where Wally and Eve are floating around, spraying the can to move them around space, it's incredible. But the #1 reason it's my favorite is that it came out on my birthday. So it just has a really special place in my heart, and I'm always going to love Wally. And he's just the cutest. Wally and Eve are one of my favorite Disney couples of all time. It's great. Next, we are moving on to my least favorite Disney film. And I'm gonna preface this with, please don't hate me. I know the film I'm gonna say is a favorite of so many Disney lovers, so many. But for me, it's Dumbo. And the reason it is my least favorite is the bullying. I can't watch it. It's really difficult to watch. The fact that it's adults bullying a child is just so inappropriate and so gross and disgusting to me. And there's also the Jim Crows, which is a whole nother ball of wax that I don't want to get into with racial issues, but just the bullying of Dumbo by adults is sickening, and it pains me to watch the movie. It has some great songs, it's animated beautifully, but I can't watch it. It's really difficult for me to watch. Next is my favorite Disney sequel, and that is Toy Story 3. Lotso Huckenbear is one of my favorite Disney villains of all time, and he makes that movie so special. Also, the fact that it came out around the time that I was leaving for college, it just really resonated and hit a strong chord. I saw it with my mom in the theaters, and both of us were just bawling because it was so moving and it resonated so strongly with both of us, and we had grown up with the characters. I mean, I grew up with Woody and Buzz and Slinky and Bo and Rex, and to see them be given away while Andy goes off to college, that definitely hit a chord. So yeah, it's really emotional and beautiful, and I just love Toy Story 3. Okay, next is the most overrated movie. Now, I love the movie I'm going to list, so let that be known, but it is Frozen. Frozen is my most overrated Disney movie. I think it's great, the music is fantastic, the story's wonderful, especially how it focuses more on the two sisters than a romance of any kind. I love that, but oh my goodness, the music is played so much. The fact that it already has a ride when there's other movies that have been around so much longer that haven't had a ride, have had no discussion of a ride. The fact that the Elsa and Anna meet and greet lines are so long. It's becoming a lot. Also, the fact that my favorite character hardly gets any love. Sven, what? Like, I love Sven. Sven's the best character in that movie. And it's just really sad that he doesn't get any recognition. So for that reason, it's the most overrated, because the characters I don't like as much get much more recognition. Next is the most underrated Disney movie. And this was a really hard one because there are so many underrated Disney movies that I love. Black Cauldron, Goofy Movie, Sword in the Stone. There's just a ton. But my choice has to go to The Great Mouse Detective. And I love Ratigan as a villain. I love his song, Ratigan, oh, oh Ratigan. And it gets no love, but it was the start of the Renaissance era for Disney, and I think it just doesn't get the love it deserves. It's almost impossible to find merchandise for it. I did find a Basil of Baker Street shirt that I got my boyfriend for his birthday, which he loved, but the fact that I had to search high and low to find it shows just how underrated that movie is, and I think it's great. And I think if anything deserves a live action remake, it is The Great Mouse Detective, because I could cast that in a heartbeat. But we're gonna move on before then. So favorite original character. So this is of the original Walt created characters. And for me, it is Pluto. I just think he is the cutest little puppers on the planet. And growing up, two of my favorite cartoon shorts featured Pluto. So the first one is the one with the bubblegum and the bumblebee. And the other one is where Mickey goes to the zoo, brings home a seal, and Pluto freaks out. and I just love him in those. And even as a small child doing meet and greets in the park, at age 2, Pluto was the one character I did not want to leave. I just wanted to stay and cuddle with and spend more time with, and so he definitely gets a special place in my heart. Okay, next is favorite non-royalty character, and that is who we see on my ears here, Mr. Lucifer. I love that he is no beast kitty, that doesn't get his way. He's sassy and salty, and yeah, I love Lucifer. It's hard to put into words exactly what it is, but I've always loved Lucifer. Next is favorite Disney princess, and that is Merida for me. Not only because she is a strong, independent woman that don't need no man, and you better recognize that she isn't, but the fact that she has big curly hair, hi, what? And that she's from Scotland. I lived in Scotland for a little while, so it has always been a special place for me, and the fact that the Disney character that looks the most like me is from there just makes it extra special. So Merida is my girl. Then next is favorite Disney prince, and for me it's Prince Eric, and I think this is nostalgia. Like I said, The Little Mermaid was the first movie I saw in theaters, and Prince Eric's a hunk. My boyfriend actually kind of looks like him, and I joke that the only reason I'm dating him is because he looks like Prince Eric, but like, also kind of not a lie. And the fact that he loves Ariel regardless of her having a voice or not having a voice, I think that's really cool. He was a little bit different than the prince that was just falling in love at first sight because of the way a girl looked. He cared more about the person. Not a ton more because he did almost marry Vanessa, but you know what I mean. Okay, next is my favorite kiss, and it is the one between Ariel and Eric because there is so much build up. There's the whole song, Kiss the Girl, and nothing. And you just want it to happen so badly, and then it doesn't. And then at the very end, you get the kiss between them, and for me, that is the best kiss because there is the build up, the anticipation, and it's a magical moment for me. Next is my favorite Disney couple, and this again is a little bit more obscure, but it is Miss Bianca and Bernard from The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under. They have such a cool dynamic. I like that Miss Bianca's the more forceful one in the relationship. Typically in Disney movies, the man has a handle on everything. They're the one taking the lead, but no, it's Miss Bianca, and Bernard is the reluctant one, and there's something I really like about that dynamic, and the voice acting in it is also great. They're my favorite couple. Next is my favorite villain, and this has to be Yzma, particularly when she's in her cat form. It's kind of a running joke with my friends that I quote Yzma all the time, and I don't even realize it, and also anytime I'm editing a video of mine, the first thing that comes into mind is that my voice? Is that what I sound like? Because I sound so different on film than I sound when I'm talking and like how I feel like I'm talking. So is that my voice is like a constant in my mind, and yeah, I quote her all the time. She's sassy, she's great. Eartha Kitt is a goddess. So yes, Yzma. Then favorite animal sidekick. Now since I already picked Lucifer as my favorite royal character, I'm going with Figaro. Figaro is so adorable. I love his relationship with Geppetto and how he reacts anytime Geppetto says something to him, how he can get cranky, how he's so sweet when he jumps in the bowl and kisses Cleo, how he tries to follow Pinocchio to school, and the fact that Figaro is actually Minnie Mouse's cat in real life. So there's a whole lot going for Figaro, and I just adore him. Next is favorite non-animal Disney sidekick, and that for me is Mr. Smee. So he's a little derpy, but any dude that can rock a crop top and be like living his best life, like he dances, he doesn't think he's messing up when he does, and I like his dynamic with Captain Hook. I just think it's a really cool friendship / dynamic, and so he is my favorite non-animal Disney sidekick. Next up is favorite love song, and for me that is I See the Light from Tangled. It is such a beautiful song, and the fact that Eugene is focused on Rapunzel while she's living her best life, looking at the lanterns, reliving this epic moment from her childhood, just shows how much he truly cares for her. And yeah, it's very moving, and I adore that song. Next is favorite villain song, and this is a tie for me because the two songs I picked are so vastly different from each other that it was hard to pick just one. So we have Poor Unfortunate Souls, which Ursula sings, and Hellfire by Judge Claude Frollo. Hellfire is so moving and visceral, and it's like this pure darkness that you are entranced by, and it's like the fire is pulling you in, and there's something really unique and entrancing about it. And Poor Unfortunate Souls shows how sassy Ursula is with her body language, but it's just, they're so different, but I love both of them for very different reasons. Next up is my least favorite Disney song, and again, this is one that I might get some hate for, and that's fine. Again, this is all my opinion, and that's why I'm asking you to leave yours down below or in a future video and tag me. My least favorite song is It's a Small World. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I was stuck on the ride once for half an hour, and I hate it, and I won't go on the ride anymore. It's just, it is this earworm that I cannot stand, and I know I'm probably offending a lot of people, and I'm sorry for that, but I can't. It's Small World is terrible. Okay, next up is favorite film setting. So this one took me a while to figure out. So of all the places in all the Disneylands that I would want to visit, it's Wonderland. I just think it's so cool how everything is different than how it usually appears. And you have the bread and butterflies, you have the singing flowers, you have the cookies that make you grow big and small. Just, there's so many cool things about Wonderland that I would love to explore. It also doesn't help, like it also helps that Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite books. But Wonderland just seems like the coolest place to visit, so it gets my vote. Next up is Saddest Disney Moment. And I mean, if you don't say it's the first 10 minutes of Up, I mean, you're not wrong, but you're wrong. Watching Carla and Ellie's relationship build up into this beautiful moment and then have it be taken away. I've cried every single time I've watched it. Yeah, it just tears me apart inside every time I watch it, so that for sure. Next is favorite funny Disney quote, and for me it is dishonor, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Mushu's great. He is one of the greatest comedic reliefs in a movie and has wonderful one-liners, but yeah, that's my favorite funny one. And then my favorite serious Disney quote, and I'm not 100% sure if this was actually in a Disney movie, but it's from Winnie the Pooh, so I'm gonna count it. It's, how lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. It's so relatable to me. I've had to deal with a few losses in my life, and when I look back, I am so fortunate that I have had those moments with those people, and I am lucky that it's been hard to lose them, because not everyone has bonds and relationships like I had with those people. Okay, next up, getting rid of the sadness and seriousness. Next up is character most like you, and this one is also a tie. It is a tie between Princess Anna and Forky. Forky is just so relatable on so many levels, being trash and not feeling like you fit in. I relate to that so much. And then I have to also go with Princess Anna because she is kind of messy. She loves sandwiches and chocolate and wants to experience new things. So I think I'm definitely a combination of the two. All right, next is favorite Disney song. For me, this is Go the Distance from Hercules. I get goosebumps every time I listen to it, and it's a song I can listen to on repeat. And the fact that Roger Bart, Tony Award winning Roger Bart, sings it, is the cherry on top of the cake. He's so unbelievably talented, and his voice with that song just is magic. Next is favorite Disney soundtrack. So going hand in hand with my favorite song, it's Hercules. I just love all the music on it. I love Zero to Hero. I love Go the Distance. I Won't Say I'm in Love. There's just so many great songs on that soundtrack. And honestly, as much as I enjoy Hercules the movie, it's really mostly for the music. I don't think the plot is as strong as a lot of other Disney movies, but the music is so spot on and it's sung to perfection. So it gets my vote. Next, we're moving on to the Disney parks. So my favorite Disney park is Epcot. I love the World Showcase, and Future World needs some improvement, but they're working on that. But I love visiting the different countries. I love going to Food and Wine. I enjoy having a few beverages around the world and exploring the different shops and learning about the different cultures. And for me, that's something I've enjoyed even when I was a little kid, so I love that. Next is favorite Magic Kingdom ride. And for me, this is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I've said it in a few of my other videos. I love that ride. I don't think it gets enough recognition, and it is definitely one of my favorites. Although Haunted Mansion gets an honorable mention because I love it. I love Haunted Mansion as well, but there's something about Big Thunder Mountain Railroad that has always resonated with me, and I still love it to this day. Next is favorite Epcot ride, and for me that is Grand Fiesta Tour. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I'm okay with it. I love the Three Caballeros. I love that it never has a line. And the song is so catchy, and the fact that you're learning about Mexican culture as you go through it, you may not realize you are, but you definitely are. And I think it's wonderful. It's just a fun little ride, and I go on it every single time I'm in Epcot without fail. It is a must-do anytime I'm in Epcot. Next is favorite Studios ride, and of course that is Tower of Terror for me. I just love that dropping sensation, and I think the theming is pretty perfect. The fact that they brought actual items from the Twilight Zone TV show into the ride really makes it special. Like, there's that creepy marionette when the elevator car turns around and it's right there. So creepy, but it was in the TV show, and I love the theming so much. Although I'm really sad that the last 2 times I was there, #Bellhop Stitch was not. So I'm hoping that they bring him back, or another bellhopped Disney character, because I liked seeing that at the end of the ride, and so I'm kind of sad that that is gone. Next is favorite Animal Kingdom ride, and for me this has to be Flight of Passage. Visually, it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. It's also one of the only rides that I've ever gone on and just said, wow, during. Because it is a wow. What they were able to achieve with a movie I don't even like that much is incredible. So yeah, if you haven't ridden Flight of Passage, get on that. Next is favorite night show. For me, that was Wishes. R.I.P. Wishes. I like Happily Ever After, don't get me wrong. I just missed the narration of Jiminy Cricket and the through line of the story that Wishes had. But the projections on Happily Ever After are incredible. I wish they could have just added that to Wishes, but I understand that they wanted to update and change, and so they did, but I will forever love and miss Wishes. This is your favorite World Showcase country. And for me, it is either Japan or Morocco. And I love Japan because of the store the most. The way it has some of this really cool, intricate technology. It goes all the way back to like where the pearls are, and a lot of the anime stuff. And then you have a lot more of the classical Japan, where you have the kimonos and the different things for like the tea ceremony and all of that. And I think that's really fascinating how Japan's culture has grown and expanded throughout the years. And then you have Morocco, and I think it's one of the most underrated countries. They have some of my favorite food. Restaurant Marrakesh is amazing, and I don't think it's a restaurant enough people go to because I don't know, I feel like they're almost afraid of what Moroccan food is, but the lamb and couscous is phenomenal. phenomenal. And also a naughty bit about Morocco is they have a penis wall. So if you can find it, you can have a little naughty moment with that. All right, next question, which is your favorite gift shop. And for me, it is 100% Memento Mori. I love the Haunted Mansion. I love all of their merchandise. So without fail, I have to go in there every single time I ride Haunted Mansion, even if it's multiple times on the same trip, just to make sure there's no new merchandise that I need to purchase. Next up is your favorite Disney snack. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Dole Whip. I know I'm basic and it's delicious, and I love that they have a bunch of new flavors coming out now, but the pineapple is still my #1 must-have snack. The next is your favorite Disney quick service, and for me it's Casey's Corner. I usually hate hot dogs. I think they're gross. There's something about Casey's hot dogs that I love, and I eat them up and they're so delicious. So any place that can make me enjoy a hot dog gets bonus points in my book. Next is favorite Disney table service restaurant, and for me it is Sanaa at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I really loved the experience there I had with my mom. The food was phenomenal, and I also love that they have this whole expanse of open windows where you can see the animals on the savannah walking around, and it just adds that extra special layer to your meal. And again, like I said, the food was delicious when I was there. Next is favorite Disney signature dining restaurant. So I'm gonna go with Citricos at the Grand Floridian. I've eaten there several times and I've always found the food to be extremely tasty. And I do have an honorable mention for this because it's really more of a once in a lifetime thing, and that is Victoria and Albert's, which is also in the Grand Floridian. I did this with my mom for her 70th birthday. It was my birthday present to her, and it was an amazing tasting course and menu, but it's probably something I may only ever do again once in my life, if I ever get the opportunity to again. It's really extravagant and fantastic if you can afford it, but if not, a slightly lower budget option that I love is Citricos. Next is favorite Disney dessert. For me, it is the pecan caramel bar that they sell at the caramel store in Germany. I love it. It's this really beautiful square shortbread cookie with a really thick layer of caramel and pecans on top. I get it every trip. I bring it home. It's breakfast for the next couple of days when I get home, because I still like to think I'm on vacation even when I'm not. So yeah, that's my favorite dessert. Favorite non-alcoholic beverage is the Peter Pan float. So this you can get at, I believe it's Storybook Treats. It is Sprite and the lime Dole Whip, and it has a little white chocolate feather for like Peter Pan's hat. It's really tasty. I love it. It's delicious, and it's super refreshing on very hot days. And then my favorite alcoholic beverage is the AOA that you can get at the Trader Sam's bar at the Polynesian Resort. And if you haven't been to Trader Sam's and you're of age, definitely go. It is such a cool experience. Each drink you order has different things that happen around the restaurant, and it's really cool. It can get a bit loud though, so I prefer to go right when it opens at 4. But if you have not been, I highly, highly recommend trying Trader Sam's. Next is favorite Disney non-park experience. And for me, that is going to Animal Kingdom Lodge and watching the animals roam about the savannah. And I just like wandering that lodge in general. They have so many cool things that are African themed that I don't necessarily have exposure to in my hometown and just in general. So I love going to see the different aspects of African culture there, but particularly watching the animals roam around. It's just really cool. Next is my favorite Disney resort, and for me that is Saratoga Springs. I am Disney Vacation Club, so it is my home resort, and it really genuinely feels like home. It is a bit large as a resort though, so it's not always the easiest to get from place to place, but there's something very comforting about Saratoga for me, and I really enjoy the Turf Club restaurant, which is their sit-down dining. And yeah, I just really enjoy Saratoga Springs. It's where I stay pretty much every trip when I go down, and I highly recommend it if you can afford it or are a DVC member yourself. Then this is probably the question some of you have been waiting for me to answer. It is my favorite souvenir, and I got this on my last trip. I built my own lightsaber. So here's a look at the hilt. And then I got the purple kyber crystal because I like to think that I am a blend of the light and the dark side of the Force. I love that it makes noises as you swing it around, turn it on and turn it off. And I'm also just a huge Star Wars nerd. So this is something that I will have forever. I'm still trying to find a way to display this in my house. But yes, I am so jazzed for this. This is 100% my favorite Disney souvenir of all time. I love it. And then my very last question of this is, what is your favorite Disney happy ending? And for mine, it is when Aladdin tells the genie that he's free. It's such this heartwarming moment. And the fact that you love the genie so much, especially because it's Robin Williams, and you watch his reaction because you don't think he's gonna be freed. And it's so moving and beautiful. And the fact that Aladdin stayed true to his word, yeah, it just gives me all the warm feels. So that is my ultimate Disney tag. Like I said, I will leave the questions down below if you want to answer them in the comments down below, or if you would like to make your own video, please tag me in it. I am so excited to see what your responses are to these questions, because I know with the Disney fandom, our opinions are all over the board, so I would love to see what you have to say. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon. Bye!